7 TV shows. He stopped stand-up because he got in a comedy battle called
Alright,
the
so apparently
Championship of
I didn't
Stand-Up
start back
Comedy
live after I
with one
changed
Cat
names.
Williams in Detroit in
Here's
front
the
of
part
10,000
where
people
they
and lost because Cat Williams said he was
correct
actually
Cat
bald and
Williams.
that was a
Part that
wig.
nobody
And I
plays.
went in and that's why he couldn't do stand-up anymore. Imagine him coming to tell you another story where he got so big and it was Bernie and them's fault because they wanted to be movie stars. What? You called Ocean 11 to get that nigga's part. What do you mean you didn't want to be a movie star? So on the behalf of Bernie, I would have to say what I have to say.
Have you ever been on tour with any of these guys?
Every guy I mentioned to you is not funny out there in real life. So no. Faison's never done his own tour in 30 years. Steve Harvey don't do stand-up no more. Cedric doesn't write. I'm sorry, he doesn't write. Ricky Smiley has been playing the same old black woman forever. Like, you can't get a young fan base with that. Like, you gotta be doing karaoke around the country to make that work.
Right.
And he is. But I'm a stand-up comedian. This is my 19th 100-city tour. I'm not going to have a conversation with these lazy bums that'll take a shortcut at any point. Yes, it's easier for you to juice than to get in the gym. But you don't get to bring that body in here talking crazy.
Talk about how good you look.
What? No, there's too many comics out there that are putting their life on the line to tell these jokes, man.
Okay. Let's get to your upbringing. We're going to circle back and we get some...
I'm going to take it real quick. Because you had said for the Kings of Comedy, it was in 2018, 2019. But did you mean 1999? Because it came out in 2000. So I just want to make sure.
No, I didn't. No. So what I meant to say was, remember, he said I couldn't do stand-up anymore. I had 7 TV shows. I said he didn't have any of those TV shows at the time.
I know he's talking about Cedric.
Okay.
2018, 2019, but it came out in 2000, so I just want to make sure.
Okay, no. What comes out in 2000?
The original Kings of Comedy.
Right. I'm on BET's Comic View, and they're using this as the commercial in 1998. That's why I'm saying... Yeah, so if I said the dates wrong, so...
Let's go and clear it up.
Okay.
You said, I had Cedric on here, and I asked him about the joke stealing, and he said the timeline doesn't add up.
Correct.
To that point, you say...
Right, so he thought that I was just a no-name comedian and that he could take this joke and nobody would know. The issue was that I had already done this particular joke on BET's Comic View twice. It had done so well on BET's Comic View that they had made it part of the commercial. So part of the commercial of make sure you tune in to BET was you seeing me doing this joke. And this joke is one of those jokes in comedy where you set it up and it takes a little longer to set it up, takes about 3 minutes. But then you're just hitting them with jokes after that because you don't have to set it up. Mark Curry had already helped me work on this joke because I thought it was good because I was getting a standing ovation on it. He had me go back in the lab to help me craft it to be an even more powerful joke. So this is not just a random joke. This is my very best joke, and it's my last joke, and it's my closing joke.
Okay.
1998, I'm doing this joke. It's on Comic View. Cedric comes to the Comedy Store. He watches me in the audience. He comes backstage. He tells me what a great job I did and how much he loves the joke. 2 years later, he's doing that as his last joke on the Kings of Comedy. And he's doing it verbatim. He's just changed my car into a spaceship. Him and Steve had already apologized for me, so I gave him a pass for a decade. Why would you sit here and be like, I saw Cat 30 times, and Cat didn't do as I stand before you, Shannon? I would have bust Cedric's stomach There was nothing that would have kept me from one of these in that patch right there. Like, are you kidding me? Why would you downplay me like that? Why did I give you a pass if you were just gonna lie? And so that's what I'm saying. Like, they're all a group. Cedric, Steve, Ricky, they've been a group. Everybody knows that. They've been aligned. And there are these alliances in comedy. And if you stand against them, then they sometimes have a problem. But we don't let that change the content, because that's all you know me for, is that I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Can you believe we're this deep into the NFL season? We got to make every second count. With DraftKings Sportsbook, you can make full time every game day. Bet on your favorite teams for a shot at winning big bucks. New customers can score 150 instantly in bonus bets or betting 5 on any matchup. Get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the app now. Use code Shannon. New customers can score 150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on the NFL. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code Shannon. Crown is yours. Let's get to your upbringing. Born in Cincinnati, Ohio, raised in Dayton, Ohio. What was Cat Williams' upbringing like? Your parents were Jehovah's Witness. You were a prodigy. You were brilliant. You talked to me that you got accepted to college at 7 years of age. You could read fluently at 3 years of age. So having that kind of knowledge, having that kind of prodigy, what was your upbringing? How was it? How was life as Cat Williams coming up?
I was often confused because I knew things and I wasn't sure how I knew them. I knew things that I felt like I don't have a reason that I know this, but I love to read. I was voracious because they told me when I was young that knowledge was powerful. That knowledge was power, and I had studied powerful people, and I really believed that. I immediately, my next project was to read the whole encyclopedia set. So when you're like 6, 7 years old, you read the whole encyclopedia set. You think you're one of the smartest people in the world, only to get out in the world and find out you don't know anything. You know, so it was a confusing time. But yeah, I had a childhood. I was grown, but I at 5 years old, I was in front of 5,000-10,000 people giving a performance with a full suit and tie on. You know what I mean? So it came full circle for my life. I knew that the applause and the giving of information and laughs and truth to people somehow benefited them and also benefited you. And yeah, so when they would ask me what I wanted to be, everything that I would say that I wanted to be was something that didn't exist. And they would never give me credit for it because I needed to say a doctor or a lawyer, but that's not what I wanted to be.
So your parents weren't as supportive as you would have hoped because you were wanting to be things when you got older that they had no knowledge of, or it didn't exist at the time?
No, it wasn't that. It was, I'm saying I'm almost 100 years old right now, but if we go outside right now, I can run a 4.340 or a sub. I can do a 4.16 if I'm
that's Jimmy John across the street. We can order a sub.
But
or you been on the submarine? That what you sub?
So back then it was even greater. So you got this guy. All the coaches want to. Hold on, because I'm 5'5" in the 5th grade. I've been this high my whole life. Like, there was a portion of school where I was one of the big dudes. Like, as soon as everybody caught their growth spurt, I was out of there. But I'm saying I was a competitive individual. My father was an athlete. Like, no, I've been 145 pounds my whole career. That's why I never bothered when they said, you cats on drugs. I knew, how you gonna prove that? My body is a temple.
I've been the same size since I was 10.
Like, what do you? Yeah, like I haven't changed off this pivot foot. This has always been who I was before stand up or anything. But it was an interesting childhood. I appreciate my parents, even though I couldn't live within the religious frameworks that they had set up. But that was more not wanting to live a double life and not want to embarrass my family. You know what I mean?
Because I read where a form of punishment for you is that they would take books because you mentioned you were such a voracious reader. And a form of punishment was when they would take the books for because you could read fluently. You told me how at like 3 or 4 years old you could read, not just a child's book, but you could read.
Well, I'm saying when we go to Haiti to do missionary work, understand that my mother and my father, nobody that's there with us speaks French. And I mean, it speaks Creole and reads French. So I'm in charge of everything, from the housing to the cars to the gardener. Like I'm saying, so I'm not just reading. I'm reading in multiple languages. Like I'm probably reading 3,000 books a year from the time that I'm 8 years old to the time that I'm 12. No fiction books at all. I'm only reading nonfiction.
You could drive at 12. You received a full scholarship to the National Science Academy in Dayton, Ohio. But you failed, so you couldn't become ineligible. Why did you want to take that opportunity?
I didn't see it as an opportunity. When I got in there, all the students were wearing lab coats, and it seemed very confined and restricted, and nobody seemed like they were having fun. It just seemed like everybody was smart. I didn't want that. That wasn't what I was signing up for at all. And plus, I thought that Jesus was my big homie. So you know how you get a story about a dude joined the gang and you get a big homie. Like at this particular point in my life, my thought is that the Bible is the greatest book that's ever been written. That it houses the truth, and that it gives you the story of Jesus, and that I'm supposed to be like him. So it's already in my head that as soon as I get 13, I'm leaving.
It wasn't a good movie either. He knew how it was going to end.
You at 13, you not only like, okay, Mom, I'm moving out. You moved from Ohio to Florida on your own. You weren't afraid. I mean, you like, did you?
No.
So what were you going to do when you got to Florida?
Don't say I wasn't afraid. There's no such thing as a human being of not being afraid.
Okay.
There are certain human beings that understand that being afraid in no way stops you from doing what you got to do.
Okay.
So I was afraid, but I couldn't be that afraid because I knew what had happened with Jesus. I knew how it worked out. I knew that I wasn't in the wrong with how I was feeling, and I knew that I didn't have any bad intentions in it.
Right.
So I trusted God that it would work out.
Why Florida?
Because if you're raised in Ohio, the one thing on your list is, I'm going to get away from snow. And I'm going to get as far. I want to go. Tell me the place. I literally went to a truck stop, and I asked all the truck drivers where they was going. And it was one guy going to California, and it was one guy going to Florida. And they told me how long it was going to take. And so that's why I ended up in Miami. Because
how did you get there? You caught a bus?
No, I just told you. I was at the truck stop. I didn't get checked. I got in the back of the dude's 18-wheeler. Me and my Rottweiler puppy and my suitcase. Yeah, because I probably had $2,500 on me. Like I was shoveling snow and cutting grass. Like I always had pockets full of money.
When did you make the decision that you were going to leave Ohio and go somewhere? And it ended up being Florida. So, but when did you know that you were leaving Dayton, Ohio, going to Florida?
Swing, appeal to first. No swing. Just
and my father and I's last interaction.
Second with 2 down. Runner takes off.
Somebody could have not made it, and we both understood. That was all, man.
What was the disagreement about?
If you say that my family is very religious, let's just say I'm not. So anything that I'm going to do is going to fall out of the guidelines.
Right.
But I'm not going to let you tell me what I'm going to be. Even, especially if what you're saying is wrong. I can't condone wrong. And if I find out that something is wrong and I tell you it's wrong and you don't back me,
the right-hander back to work.
That's what it is.
Even as a young child, you were willing to tell your parents that some of the things that you're saying doesn't coincide with what I've been reading in the Bible.
No. Very simply, don't try to disfellowship me for sexual acts and I'm a virgin. Sorry, God don't make mistakes. You don't get 2 times to fuck me over. What do you mean you went to God and he told you I was guilty? You just lied on God. So long. That's it. There's no conversation. Deuces.
So that's when you made the decision. After that conversation right there, you say, "Nah, I can't live under this rule."
It wasn't a conversation. It was an altercation. In the altercation, I love my father. My father loved me. But we are 2 men at it. It'll never be the same again. You can't sleep comfortably around me. And I can't sleep comfortably around you.
How similar are you to your father?
To do damage. I think he had his sights set on that pitch.
No, I don't know. He's a great man. I'm saying,
Because y'all butt heads.
He takes the ball.
Right, but I'm saying that generally happens with a father-son dynamic. It was just that religious relationships are always difficult in families. They always are.
Before he got to the point, because the dynamic, he's father, your son. Before that dynamic, and you step up on his level and you challenge him, you felt it was best for you to leave.
No. I'm not being challenged. I'm being beat to death.
Oh, he was abusive.
I didn't say that. I said we were in an altercation.
I see what you did there. I saw what you did there. I saw what you did there, Cat. I saw what you did. You was in an altercation. You didn't say you lost. You said you was in an altercation.
Good execution.
I in no way gave you the impression that I won anything. I'm the one leaving. I'm out of bounds. This is his house.
Right.
Yeah. So as long as I'm going to be under his roof, there are certain things that I'm going to have to do.
Right.
And the only way that's going to change is either this or that. And I'm saying I had 2 younger brothers. Like, I'm not an unreasonable person. Like, I don't have any mental issues whatsoever, despite what they lead people to believe. You know, I make pretty good decisions.
Were you not? So how was their relationship with your father? Were you not afraid to leave them?
Well, I asked because it went all the way to the actual department, so it was actually going to be something. And when I asked them if they could just make sure that my brothers didn't get separated and what have you, they said they couldn't make those type of guarantees, that they weren't really sure what would happen if this went down. And so part of leaving was the hope that it would be okay for them, because none of them experienced what I experienced. I'm saying I'm the oldest. It's a lot riding on me. I'm supposed to at least religiously hold down the family's name at this house. You know what I mean?
How much older are you than the baby and the knee baby?
Like a lot older. Like if I'm, I think
13.
Yeah, they're 5. And
you trusted your hands, you let the ball travel, and you took the barrel
straight to it.
That's great work right there.
Next pitch inside.
You go to Florida. You tell the story of her. You were homeless, and somebody else told the story, said they were homeless, and you said they hijacked your story. Now I don't.
At 13, I shouldn't have to tell you I'm homeless. I'm in Miami, Florida. I have no family members in Florida. I couldn't buy a house if I wanted to. I couldn't get an apartment if I wanted to. I don't have a credit history. Like, This is not a stretch for me to say that I'm homeless. I'm living in a park in Coconut Grove. The park still exists to this day. For 8 hours a day, I would get up and go to the library and study for 8 hours a day to increase my education. And then I would leave out of there and go to the marina and steal car radios and make $2,000 almost daily. Like I had a routine.
So you really could have played that Santa Thief and Santa Claus. You could have played it.
No, the Santa Claus wasn't a thief. The Santa Claus, you can't tell me. I read the script. Ricky Smiley told you he didn't read the script. The Santa Claus was a crackhead. He just had that outfit on. That's what I couldn't have played.
Okay.
Like I couldn't have played the black guy that got raped in the bathroom.
Right. So at any point in time, you like, man, I made a mistake, man. I should have stayed my buddy in Ohio, man, because this is, man, this ain't what I signed up for.
I didn't experience anything once I left home that I hadn't signed up for. If anything, it saved my life. Me being homeless for that small period of time allowed me to see all of the people that were in that situation and to see that these were lawyers and doctors and teachers, and that these people were white and black and Asian and Indian, and the only thing that all of these homeless people had in common was they made a bad decision and aligned themselves with drugs. And I interviewed them all. What drug? What happened? And guess what, Shannon? Nobody had a great story. Nobody had a great story of what meth had done for them, what crack had done for them, what cocaine had done for them, what heroin had done for them, what speed had done for them. Nobody had them stories. Everybody's story was, I had my life together, and then I decided to do this dumb thing. And I lost my wife, I lost my house, I lost my cars, I lost my reputation, and I'm now out here sucking penis in the woods. What? Talk about scared straight. You ain't got to worry about me. If that ain't weed or nicotine, you won't see me touching it. I don't want no parts. I done seen what these things can do to people. Anything that take over your free will is the devil itself.
Have you ever thought about what your life would have been had you stayed in Dayton, Ohio?
That looked like a case of deciding to swing no matter what.
No, that's like asking somebody that's in the NBA for 14 years, like, what would have happened if you didn't come to the NBA? Oh, I shudder to think. I thought it was what I was made for. I thought it was what I was built for. Anybody that knows me will tell you that when they first met Cat Williams, when I was Cat in the Hat, and they tell these stories about how he changed his name. Look, the truth of the matter is Disney sued me. Yeah, I was Cat in the Hat. They sent me a cease and desist letter, and I'm not even making $25,000 a year. And the mega company Disney has sent me a cease and desist telling me I can't use any variations of that name. Fine, I'm Cat Williams. That's all that happened. I have been this same product the entire time. They will tell you when they first saw me doing stand-up, I was just like this. This is what I bring. This is my style.
When did you know were you always funny? Did you always want to be a comedian? How did you stumble on a comedianship?
No, I loved what they did, and so I studied them, all of them. I studied all of the white comedians because I wanted to know, why is Monty Python funny? Why is Don not so talented? I wanted to know, what is George Carlin's thing? Like, so I studied all of the comedy masters regardless of the field because I loved to laugh. I didn't know that these people were making a great living at doing this. I thought this is just what they did. They tell jokes. They're funny people. But I love the craft. And that's why when I got into the craft, I thought it was my obligation to make sure that I kept writing new material so much that it forced these comedians to stop doing the set they've been doing for 10 years and keep writing some new stuff. And I knew that if I could get that to take on, that most of these bums would have to just quit comedy because they can't keep up. They're not going to keep writing an hour worth of material. I've written an hour worth of material 19 times. They're not going to do it. Why? Because they're not creative writers. They want to get somebody else and have them write it and put it together.
So, if I'm listening to you correct me if I'm wrong. I think the best thing that ever happened was the internet. Because now they have to. Because normally, like you said, you could do a set and you do that set in Kansas City. People ain't heard it in San Francisco. People ain't heard it in Miami. They ain't heard it in Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta, so forth and so on. Now you do a set, it's on the internet. Somebody heard it. So you can't do a set and make it last 3 months, 4 months.
Well,
no, he held up.
It doesn't allow the regular comic the ability to grow is the real problem. Like, part of comedy is me taking these jokes in January, and by March, I've begun to craft this joke. It's not as simple as it was. When I wrote it, it was just da-da-da-da-da. But now it has the complexities of the fact that I'm having to deliver this to an East Coast audience, a down South audience, a Midwest audience, a Utah audience, a Colorado audience. And so it begins to take on a different complexion because you're having to deliver it to different people.
Okay.
And so this is what sharpens your joke. You then take those sharpened jokes and make it special. Not you just randomly take some. So it's a process. You don't allow them to process if the first time the guy did the joke, now that's his joke and the joke is everywhere. That just sets it up for people to steal.
So how many times must you tell a joke before you master it?
So impressed with his ability to let the ball.
How many times have you had to sleep with a woman before you're done with her? That's not fair. If it's great, never. If it ceases to have usefulness, so it has been spoken. Right.
I read that you was raised in Florida. You had some help, some ladies of the night.
No.
That's not true.
No, that whole story doesn't take place in Florida. That story takes place in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
So after I'm in Florida, I then join, I try to join the Marine Corps, and they won't accept me because I'm too young, and I've lied and told them I'm 16, and my family's moving down, and I don't have my ID, but it's coming. And so they let me go to the boot camp, That's not going to work now. Okay, so I've learned that lesson. So then I get this job selling stuff door to door across the country. And so I've been to all 50 states. Again, I'm 14 years old. So I did that. And while I'm doing that, one of the places I'm at, I'm in Oklahoma. And I've decided I'm going to stay here because of meeting these ladies that you're talking about and that situation. I don't know at the time why that's important in my life or why it's something I should be doing or any of that. But now later on, it certainly helps me in formulating Money Mike for Friday After Next and Pimp Named Slickback for the Bulldogs.
Oklahoma, so San Francisco, Oklahoma, Sacramento. From Florida, you moved to the West Coast. So you traveling. When did you set up shop on the West Coast?
All right, so I guess
safe. Nice job recovering to complete the strike.
18 or younger, and once I have a child, I realized that I can't. There's a lot of things that I could use to make money that now is a no-go. So anything with street aspirations that I might have thought about pursuing or been good at, I now am a single parent, and I gotta redo these things. So I need comedy to really work out for me. And me and God go into extreme conversation where I'm explaining to him that I'm a crash out dummy if he don't send me a lifeline. Like I need something I can hold on to. Before I left Florida, I did stand up one time because we was trying to get in the club. I didn't have ID. So I said I was a comedian. They ended up having me do 5 minutes. But I kept that in my head that I had done that. When we get to Oklahoma, they're having a competition for stand-up, and if you win, you get to go out on the road with Jeff Foxworthy and Dan Whitney, who was Larry the Cable Guy, and Richard Jenny, and these great comics. You get to open for them. And once I did that, I realized, okay, as a comedian, I'm like way behind schedule. I done started this too late. All the funny guys are already funny and known names. Like, how am I going to progress? So I realized that I do better with a white audience than I do with a black audience, and I'm not sure why that's occurring, but the white audience likes me more. That's interesting. So when I moved to Sacramento, it's because Sacramento has a white and a black audience almost 50-50. That's almost the makeup of Sacramento. So I lived in Sacramento for 2 years until I get to the point where I am equally as funny if the room is black as I am if the room is white. That's not enough. Now I need to be one of the good ones when it comes to black comics. So now I have to move to Oakland, and that's what lands me in Oakland for 3 years. Once I have dominated male black comedy in Oakland to my liking, now I'm prepared to go to Los Angeles Now I know you can't throw me any curveballs. If it's a white audience, if it's a black audience, no matter what they are, I'm prepared to deal with all of the audiences.
Do you write jokes according to or is your joke universal?
Well, in the beginning, part of my framework is that I'm tailoring every show to this audience.
Okay.
And that's how I was able to show my range and show that I was better than my competitors, is that I'm Cat Williams, but I was still doing clean comedy. So I was still going to churches and doing 45 minutes of stand-up at the church with no curse words, no sex, drug material, no none of that, just straight stand-up. And then I was doing everything else. And
at the regular club.
yeah, that was the range, is that when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So that's how I started. But as you begin to get better, you begin to be able to speak to your entire fan base. And that's really what's been helpful, is that I've been having the same conversation with my fan base for 12 comedy specials.
Is that what set Cat Williams apart? Is your range? Is that you can do a comedy, do 45 minutes to church? I can go to a comedy club in front of 250, or I can go into an arena with 15,000. It's not range because everybody can't do that, Cat.
Well, if that's what range is called, then yeah, it's range. But I like the people I'm talking to. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like it can't be condescending, because I'm talking to my white male friend when I'm telling that white joke.
Right.
When I'm talking about this joke about this black lady, I know that black lady. That's who I'm talking to. I'm speaking to this fan base that I've been speaking to from the beginning. I already told them what I was on when I first came in. I told them they was gonna come after me. They was gonna cancel me. They was gonna say terrible things about me and try to mess my life up. I said that coming into stand-up. I'm saying it in my
So you
face.
knew it was going to be.
It has to be. I know I'm going into the belly of the beast. How could I be naive? I know that I'm going into Satan's playground, but I'm trying to be so good that you got to bring me in so close that I can see who's doing what and what's going on in there.
In San Francisco, you joined the nation.
I was never in San Francisco. I was in Oakland.
You was in Oakland. Did you join the nation? Is that?
Yeah, Honorable Minister Farrakhan and I have an extremely close relationship. He refers to me as one of his sons. So, yeah, I spent a particular period of time Let me explain. Because my particular background was already religious and super strict, right? I didn't find out about other religions by reading about them. I went to religion. I don't want to learn from Jewish people from outside. I want to be in the synagogue. I don't want to learn about Muslim people from I want to be in the mosque. I don't want to hear about the Baptist or the Pentecostal. I want to go to their church and see. And so that was the religious discovery that I was on through that period in my life.
When did you know you were funny?
Outside.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Probably
Anderson ready
about 10 years ago.
10 years ago?
Yeah, about 10 years ago.
So you didn't think as a child, because obviously you said the very structured background, your family was very religious, so obviously you didn't get an opportunity.
Like I never did a talent show. I was never in any extracurricular activities. I was never in drama. I was never in band camp. I was never a Boy Scout. You understand? You understand? So there was no, I don't tolerate high school games. I didn't go to high school. I don't know how most of the games they think I play, I'm not even aware of.
But for you to get on stage, and like I said, a lot of people, like a lot of the comedians I had up here, it's like, okay, I told jokes to get girls, I told jokes to, get people to laugh at someone else. But you, it's like, and you said you did comedy one time in Florida. And you had this other opportunity, like in Oklahoma, that they were going to take you out if you won the talent show. You was going to go on the road with these well-known comedians.
And I did.
But I'm just saying, how in Florida at 13, 14 years of age, you like, 16, I can do that.
Well, because I knew that there were a lot of other things I could do. Like, when I looked at drug dealers, I thought I could do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So right. And who doesn't like that? I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make it. But now that I got to do it on this side, but no, your question was, when did I think I was funny? I never was my biggest fan. To this day, I'm not the biggest fan. I'm a fan of comedy. I like great comedians. Like, I like Chappelle. I like Patrice O'Neal. Like, I like the greats of comedy because I do. Like, I like Ron White. I like Bill Engvall. Like, I know comics. Like, people that did the craft, they raised me. I was touring with Steve Marmel and Richard Jenny, a real journeyman. So my comedy upbringing was standard. I thought you had to work all night, every night, all around the country, and you had to write jokes, and that you were trying to write jokes that other people weren't writing, and that your job was to be funnier. Like, people that know me will tell you I've been on this. Like, I had a list of all the black comedians that were more famous than me. There was 300 of them on the list, and I had to be able to cross them all out before I could make it to the next level, before I felt like I was funny enough to do that. And so I appreciate what competition does for sports and for my particular sport. And comedy is a sport.
What gave you the confidence that you could get on stage?
You remember, I was 5 years old on stage. But I was reiterating God's word at that point. Now, I just have to make sure that the content is good. If the content is good, what part can I not do? I'm a vessel. He's given me these gifts to be able to do certain things, so I just want to utilize them in my craft. That's all.
Do you remember your first set?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 5-10 minutes.
No, I think 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
Standing ovation, boos, some applause, some jeers.
No, none of that. They applauded like I was a professional at it. But now looking back, I understand, because you gotta understand they were all thinking, he don't even look old enough to be in here. And we don't have any black guys that live in this town.
Right.
Where did he come from? And then he gets up there, and for 3 minutes, he talks about the fact that he is the entire black community.
Right.
And he is as disappointed in them. It looked like they looking for where the rest of them is. And so is he. And that was his set. But I understood from that point that the truth is really the commodity, and the fact that we are all individuals and all separate and all our own islands, but not in real life. In real life, it's only 5 or 6 different types of people, and you're going to see them everywhere that you go. And all my enemies all look the same in the eyes, whether it's Faison, Wanda, Aries, Spears, they all look like...
Man, what you got against Wanda Sykes? You think I don't remember that?
Sir, Wanda Sykes and Wanda Smith are 2 separate people.
I mean, Wanda Smith.
I had only said one name, sir.
Wanda Sykes is amazing. I love Wanda. I love Wanda. That's my girl. But I remember on the radio, you went on the radio interview. If I'm not mistaken, that's in Atlanta. Right. And you came on there with seemingly good intentions. And she attacked you.
It wasn't just that part. It was the fact that before I go in there, she has a conversation about, okay, now, I just want to talk to you because you just won an Emmy for the city of Atlanta, and this is in Atlanta, and they just want to hear about the Emmy and hear from you, and to thank you for what you did, putting the city on. And we won't talk about your kids. We won't talk about jail, no cases. We ain't going to talk about none of that. And immediately gets in there and goes the opposite way. You can't flip up on me because you're an inferior comedian. I'm going to destroy you, and I'm never going to call you out of your name. I'm never going to say anything disrespectful to people that look like you. It's a very thin line. I got a call, but this lady is trying to embarrass me in front of a largely homosexual fan base. That's why she got canceled. Gay people don't take it kindly that you, as a derogatory, call me gay. Gay people don't feel like it's derogatory. So why are you trying to shame me with something in a community I don't even belong in? There's no gay people saying I belong over there. I've been over there. But I have no hatred of over there, and how dare you?
You did a number on it, though.
Hey.
You did a number on it. That's legendary.
No, you either believe in karma or you don't. Because I didn't even know any of the stuff that she had done to my fellow comedians until afterwards. I just know that it was a setup.
Right.
And remember, they tried to kill me this same weekend. Not in jokes, with a real gun in my real face on real camera. Understand, I'm losing my life for participating in something that goes along with my job. Like, this 2 comedians, what do you mean? And the world was okay with it because it was me. Had that happened to anyone else, the world went crazy when Will smacked Chris. This is a person pulling a whole gun on a comedian in the confines of their job. It's really a weird situation when they hate you that bad.
Yeah. You felt she hated you at that moment because you mentioned that she said it was going to be very professional. Oh, you won an Emmy, congratulations, you put the city on, you own for the city, yada, yada, yada. And now, did she mention anything about the Emmy on camera?
I believe you saw the video and you know that none of that took place. See, the issue is that all the comedians have to come through these radio stations because you have to sell your tickets, and so that means you have to go to the radio station.
Yes.
I don't go to the radio station. I don't make posts to sell tickets. I just don't. So you've not seen me. I'm not here in some subservient position where somebody's setting me over.
You here out of kindness of your heart. You are.
No, I'm saying in the interview situation. Yeah, right.
For sure.
Yeah, and this person knew I wasn't there for that, or
But how hard? Because you have to understand, she is a female, and so you have to be careful. You have to handle her with kid gloves.
Sir. You want to go ahead and take that out? You don't want to be against equality, do you?
No.
What you just said was very unequal, sir.
But you
think maybe you've had enough of this. Because I think I just heard you say that women are not equal and should be treated unequally.
They want to be
You
treated.
mean as a comedian?
No. They want. Listen, you understand and I understand.
Yeah.
In certain situations, they want to be treated equally. Not all situations.
And what part of what you saw her get? What part would have been different if she was a man?
Right here. Got to do his best to keep the
It would have just been more vicious.
That's my point.
I took all the vicious and venom away because I didn't have any. Plus, I understood. I'm not trying to offend black women with short hair. I'm not trying to offend heavyset women. I'm not trying to upset fellow comedians. I'm not trying to do any of that, and I am qualified to be able to do none of that and still eviscerate you because I'm smart enough to know that I need to say that you have gnarled fingers because I know your limited education means you don't know what the word means. So you can't possibly respond to it. You're not sure of the meaning. And I'm going to continue hitting you because this is what comedians do. You've been masquerading that you're a comedian too, and that's the fallacy.
So,
nobody in boxing fights out of their weight class.
If you're on the opposing team,
if you're a 130 pounder, you don't just show up with the 160 pounders. You stay in your weight class.
Is that what you wanted to do?
1-1.
No.
That she was out of her league when it came to... Because
I didn't want to do any of it.
I know you didn't want to, but once she took it there, did you feel that you had to go there?
Swings and misses.
Oh, you could have said, Wanda, I didn't come here for that. I just want to do the interview. I just want to talk about what happened.
Oh, you misunderstand my job. My job is to be funny. My job is to be funny first. My first job is to be funny. My second job is to be respectful. My third job is to be immaculate and Gaza strip it.
Really good take, especially with
That's non-political. I'm saying, if you do it, you let a terrorist accidentally touch your ear. And I won't stop burning you down until there ain't nothing left. It'll literally be rubble on top of rubble, and I'll still be balling. Why? Because that's why you should mind your business. This is what F around and find out is about.
Right.
That'll do it for
Have you ever been booed, Jack?
digging in. It's the speedy outfielder.
Yes.
So they bring on the veteran, Aaron Lou.
Yeah.
Bringing in the lefty with the left-handed hitter to hit. Classic bullpen.
What was that feeling like? Did it want to give up? Because because when you have to, I don't know how early it was in your career. Obviously, it hadn't been I don't think it's in the last decade because you've been immaculate.
That's a bullet, but it goes foul.
Have you ever dropped a pass?
I have.
Now this is a rocket to left.
I've been booed too.
You know the little segment between everything is fine and I got it, and then you noticing where it is now. Yeah, it's that. The thing about as a comedian,
On the ground, right side.
the audience's opinion is the only opinion that matters, not you, the writer, not none of that. And so I don't think any comedian has ever been booed unnecessarily either. Oh yeah. I'm saying what do they say when a guy shoots the air ball in the NBA? They say air ball to make sure everybody knows. But again, he still got to get back on D.
Right.
Like the game didn't end. He don't get to throw his hands up and sulk.
Right.
That's supposed to be used as a learning experience. Most comedians don't get booed enough.
Or into the gap will produce a
two-out
RBI.
This is how you end up with a Michael Blackson, who's a real African doing a fake African accent. Okay, no. This guy is mad at me. All I did was give him the best advice of his life. Remember, he was wearing dirty dashikis, and I told him he needed to dress to be in the position that he's trying to say that he's in. And if you're the African king of comedy, sir, there's actually comedians in Africa doing comedy. If you're going to say that, you got to go to Africa and get a school, dude. Everybody got, you got to put in some work. And these guys, they take my advice, they change their whole persona, and then they hate me for it. And generally, I'm just too big to comment or make a statement about it or do a live or any of that. But when it gets to be a whole grouping of these guys, I gotta come and talk to Shannon. I gotta lay it down at the altar.
You know every comedian.
This is the other side of Kirk Franklin Frank. This is the reckoning. 2024. The reckoning.
You watch it. You know every comedian that's been on my show. You watch every episode. Cause you know.
That's not what you said. You said I know every comedian.
You know every comedian.
You limiting me.
Oh, you watch every episode because you know things.
Right back
You know
on
things.
the mound.
He's out.
Swings to first and one away in the top of the third.
That's always where I'm trying to come from, whether it's comedic or otherwise. That's why even if you see me get arrested 10 times in a row on TV, as a fan of mine, you can be like, he's going to be right out.
Ball out at the left center field.
Yeah, but they just say it. He didn't do
Makes
it.
the catch for the
He
out.
couldn't have. It's stupid. Why would he do something stupid knowing he got to come back and talk to us? Nah, they respect that every time it happens, I'm going to be free as a bird sitting out here talking to you about it. That it really was what I said it
The
was.
left
That's all.
fielder, Tim Raines.
You end up, you come down, you're in LA.
Yeah.
Now, I'm reading
And
Cat
just a
Williams
little bit
won
low.
Cedric the Entertainer's Anheuser-Busch Best Los Angeles Comic Award. Did you win that award, one Cat
Lefty
Williams?
the 1-0. And a swing and a miss.
It's a simple yes or no. It's not a rhetorical question.
It's a question that probably should have been asked to Cedric the Entertainer.
I'm asking you. I got you here, though.
I know. I couldn't believe Cedric didn't get asked that question. You still a dude's joking and giving an award, and then 10 years later you don't know nothing about it. Hey, but I promise you this. Look, if he sees me again before he sees you,
And they take a 2-1
he'll be
lead.
talking different when you see him. That's for certain. That's the difference. That's what these comics understand, is that I'm not doing nothing for clout. I don't even recognize clout. But eventually the Lord is going to let me and you be in one hallway.
For a strike, throw to second.
A lot of these dudes go.
Chris's wheels with
Kevin
a
Hart done
difference
went
maker on
25
that.
years without ever being in the same building with me at the same time. If I go in the building, he walk out. You've never seen us in the same building ever in 25 years. Like, it's like that. Why? Why?
Yes,
Because I'm really the product. It's not what you think. I am never under the influence of anything. I'm always in my right mind. I'm always a physical specimen. And when you see me, I'm much, much bigger than you had thought.
And it's even up.
I have far less play in me
Scoring position.
than you would like. And I'm relentless. I'm out there. I'm still, to this day, I play 11 games of basketball with a 20-year-old.
Damage control right there. So
The record is
that
92-6. This is just in the yard, just to the rack, just cause
You work out, Cat? Y'all mean, you work out, Cat?
I'm not to the gym.
You don't work out the gym? You push ups, sit ups?
My whole life it was just push-ups and sit-ups only. I would do like 100 push-ups a day. Just,
I thought you were going to say 1,000.
no, because this is literally every day. This is not for the grant. You know what I mean? Like literally 100 a day. And I would do push-ups, and then I tore both my rotator cuffs. And so it was only thanks to golf that I was even able to get my thing back. I've been a golfer for quite some time. My short game is impeccable. I can't get you but 2 and some change off of the tee, but I'm still coming in for par guaranteed.
Yeah, with 2 strikes here, you really
You
want
playing
to
for
miss
tips?
outside the zone with
Oh,
that
that
breaking
bitch
ball.
is out.
No, I've found that you don't get anything for that. It seems very egomaniacal. They go, hey, Cat, for free, you can go further back. There, boy. Wait a minute, does it still count the same? Hey, I'm up at the ladies' tee. Don't tell me my pronouns. On the golf course, I'm she, her, him, them, and they. Whoever the front tee.
Richard, I know we're joking. We're having a great conversation. But you did win the award. How did the award help your career? It had to help some, Cat.
Nope.
God, come on, Cat.
I didn't remember it happened to you. Just said it. How can Cedric give you an award that was worth something? Everything Cedric and Ricky Smiley ever been in got canceled for not being funny. Ricky sat here and told you that they cut him out of every movie he did. They always had a reason. Right? That's why I'm funny, because I'm a happy person. I laugh all day long. I can't even imagine the misery of these bumps. Just to not be good at what you do, not work hard at what you do, but have to act like you the best at what you do. It is crazy. It's crazy.
But they be touring, they be doing like 100 shows a year.
That's me. I don't run into none of them. That's what I'm saying. If you a Faison Love fan, you mean you've been a fan of him for 32 years, you still waiting on him to do his first special? You mean to tell me if Steve Harvey, your favorite comedian, you mean you've been waiting for him to do stand-up for 15 years now?
I mean, Steve got a lot of other...
DL's still out there. None of those irons matter to stand-up. Who cares that they wrote a placard for you to do Family Feud on? Like, you're successful because we're surprised you can talk for a living and it's entertaining that you're going to say some funny country things. But not a writer.
Right.
Not a writer.
How did you develop Money Mike and get it? Everybody talk Money Mike. How did you come up with that and say, you know what, this is how he should dress, this is how he should talk, this is how he should look, this is the kind of whip he should ride, this is how he should talk.
And we are underway.
So if you'll remember that was my first movie, just understand that what I did then, I've done with every single role, whether it was an Emmy-winning role or whether it wasn't, whether I was playing somebody homeless, whether I was playing a dirty vagabond on Atlanta, whether it was an eccentric guy in First Sunday, regardless of what the role is, the first thing I do is erase me from it.
Okay.
So anything that I would naturally do, that's what I'm not going to do because I'm playing a different character. Right. So I then create this person based upon real life circumstances. So I don't have to wonder what a pimp thinks because I've been in that position for a little while. I also worked manual labor for some time in my life, so I don't have a problem paying somebody that works. And I don't have a problem being a go-getter because I'm a go-getter. So I bring whatever I can to these characters. I was able to...
Left-hand hit away.
The first week that I got the script, there was a pimp guy that used to be a pimp, but he wasn't anymore. He was a rapper now, and his name was Mac Minister. And he had been a pimp and was going to be a rapper. And I had never done a movie before. I was a stand-up, and I'm getting ready to do the movie. And so I was able to craft what a real pimp was like, what was too much. I didn't want to be stereotypical. I did the research. I saw how many times people played pimps, and they were always, it was always something weird about them, I guess, because it's a weird job, you know what I mean? And I wanted somebody that didn't seem like none of that, that he really thought it was a business and treated it like that. And so, you know, adding those levels to acting is what all actors do if they're not Steve or Cedric or Ricky. Like, you're trying to create a character. You can't just be Faison in every movie. Like, you're just gonna take your shirt off of every movie? Like, why does it say that in your script?
Man, let Big Worm live. Let him breathe, Cat. Let Big Worm breathe.
One scores in the inning coming on this solo home run. And back here at the ballpark. And on the hill
You have an unnatural allegiance to losers. It's not like
no, I ain't got no allegiance to the man. But you got to admit the role that he played, Big Perm and Friday Night. You got to give him credit for the role. Now, come on now.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If what you're saying is correct, why wasn't he in next Friday or Friday after this?
I mean, his role,
it wasn't good.
The 0-2.
Sorry.
There was a lot of people that appeared in the first one that weren't in the second one, Cat.
I'm just telling you why. I'm sorry that there's a news flash that there are reasons for things in a business.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow. Why did you bench D'Lo? He had 2 points. What are you talking about? Shut up. Well, I like him. Nobody cares about that. That's not what we're talking about. These are business conversations that deal with businessmen. Right. When you're good at something, you should progress. The guys that are not as good, they should fall down by the wayside. That's natural.
So you believe if your talent doesn't support it, you should fall by the wayside, and the guys that have the talent and to get elevated, they should lose.
No, that's what water says. That's what the universe say. The universe say the levels. Not I say. Who am I? I'm nobody. But I'm working every day as if I think that's what is how it should be. And I'm choosing comedians that also write and work hard and don't steal other people's material. And I'm making sure that they all make $300,000 a season, and I'm making sure that they're not ever signed to me or my conglomerate, and that's why they're successful. No, you can work with me and still be an independent businessman, boss owner like you came in. I don't need you to be subservient to me. That's those other guys that make you pay dues.
You said earlier that you rewrote a lot of what Money Mike was to say and how he behaved. So they allowed you the freedom, the liberty to ad lib. How much?
Would they allow you to just make an interception if didn't nobody talk about it? As a football player, if the ball comes your way, can you just grab it? Can you make an interception anytime? Are you allowed to pick up any fumble? You can do any hustling, right? Oh, okay, same here. Same here.
But here's the thing, though. Even as an offensive player, they might let me ad lib once I get a couple of years under my belt. They wouldn't let me ad lib as a rookie. That was your first movie.
I told you the conversation in my first movie, just because I am committed to laughs. The only way I made it past those 300 comedians, I didn't tell you this. What it required is I had to watch all 300 comedians 10 times a piece. I watched your set 10 times of you performing, whoever you were, and then I counted how many laughs you got every time you did these amount of minutes. So if you told me this comedian and told me he did 30 minutes, I could tell you that he got 26 laughs in that 30 minutes because I had done the numbers on everybody. So I didn't just say I was funnier. I knew I was funnier than the comic you liked, and I could tell you how many jokes funnier I was because that's how we judge stand-up. You do 15 minutes, I do 15 minutes. How do I know I'm funnier than you? Because you got 6 laughs, and I got 16.
Striking distance.
I'm almost 3 times better than you, low-key boy. But I'm never going to tell you the formula. So you going to keep just going out there telling jokes, not understanding that psychologically, the audience by 10 years is convinced that I'm funnier than you. They just don't know why. Because I'm putting out more content better.
I had Terry Crews on here. He said at the time that you did the movie, you were homeless. Is that true?
This was my situation.
All sliders so far in this at bat to get ahead in the count.
5 months prior to me getting this first audition for Friday After Next, I got this baby son. I'm holding him up above me. He grabs my little chain. He's playing with it, and he accidentally drops it. It breaks out my front 2 teeth. I'm in a situation now where when I go to the dentist, they telling me this is going to cost thousands and thousands of dollars to fix this, right? They're not telling me what it's going to look like. I go get an estimate with no money involved, find out what I need to do. They find out you got a tumor in your upper jaw, so we're going to have to do a whole surgery for you. It's going to be 100 bands. I don't have it. And I'm only going to have this check from this movie. So while I'm doing this movie, we live in this trailer. That's where we live. So when they come to work at 5 in the morning, we already there. When they leave at night, we still there. We just double back because we understood that this is our one opportunity. And we have this opportunity to change our lives, just like a young man going for the draft. Right. We can actually get in the league with this. There are 30 comedians on this cast. They're all magnificent. This is the holy grail of the situation. So yeah, I was able to make sure that, because it wasn't just my first movie, it was KD Albert's first movie, it was Terry Crew's first movie. I was the leader of this group, which meant that we didn't do their rehearsals, they did rehearsal, we did our own rehearsals daily to make sure that we were at the level of professional actors, which is what made it so egregious. That guy. Say, I was supposed to, you were supposed to what?
Man, he did have a good part in the movie, man. The Santa Claus was funny, man.
The dude said the entire time we're filming, I can't play this role. They got a bandana over my nose and my mouth. Martha and not even gonna know who this is. So yeah, tell your story.
Terry Crews also said that you guys had a lot of conversation, that this was your opportunity and you needed to seize this role.
Late with the swing there.
Not able to catch up to that velocity.
Terry had the benefit of having been in some very high-profile situations already and took L's. Like, he had been in the league. You know what I mean? He had done pro wrestling. He had done a lot of things. He had been televised and some things that hadn't worked. Right. And this was just fortuitous for him. And now you know what nobody has ever said in the whole industry in 20 years about, you know, the whole Money Mike not getting raped in the bathroom. Right. So I understood going in that there's no reason. I lost for a 5-year period, every single movie that Kevin Hart did was a movie that had been on my desk. That all I had said was, just, can we take some of this step and fetches shit out? And then I can do it. Like, it don't need to be overtly homosexual, because I'm not homosexual, right? It doesn't need that to be funny, right? And me saying that and them going, oh yeah, no problem. And then going to give it to this other guy and having him do it just like it was and acting like I'm a bad person because I keep standing on my standard. But, yeah, it's interesting, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, again, I'm on the winning side of these decisions.
You know, look, I've had Cube, I've talked to Cube, and a lot of people say Cube doesn't pay. What's your relationship with Cube, and what did that opportunity mean for you?
In this spot to get ahead in the count, he's going to have to continue finish off this hitter.
Well, the ungrateful bastards that would say anything about Cube's payment, you shouldn't even talk to them anymore. Like, you don't go to Goodwill. You don't go to a Goodwill thrift store and go, look at all this cheap ass shit. Why don't you shut up? Why don't you shut up? You could have went to Hermes. Why you didn't go to Balenciaga? Why you didn't go to the Balmain? You want to have that conversation? What you mean, the independent black dude who's filming it partly out of his fucking pocket? What you mean he didn't pay you enough? They weirdos that felt like they earned the opportunity because they were big. No, I understood.
That ain't no $200 million movie. Well, I mean, how much did you expect you were gonna make?
Well, I made enough to get them teeth fixed just like you did.
Yeah.
So it was no harm, no foul. I knew that I was gonna go from there, and there was no
turning back for Cat Williams.
Well, here's the thing. I wrote it. What I'm saying if I did it and I did a good job at it, you can thank me. I was involved. Right. I'm not gonna come later on and tell you I never even read the whole script. So how you know what roles? What do you mean you never read the? like
ends up hitting him with the pitch.
But these guys' whole job is to present something, unfortunately. And I'm just not a presenter. If you ask me a question, I'm just going to tell you the truth for how.
Damn it. Would you be willing to do another Friday?
You've already asked me to write it. I was supposed to have been writing it. This is what these guys are mad about. Like, we lost some great people before this movie could come out regardless. And so, yes, there desperately needs to be one. But we miss John Witherspoon in a way that can't really be quantified, if I'm being honest with you. And the Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker, not Smokey. Oh, Lord.
As we go to the last
if I didn't know no better, I'd tell you he's the greatest. I don't care what you say. To be confident and not delusional is a real skill. Most of these confident people we see is really delusional.
Well, you don't think they ask Chris Tucker to come back in the second Friday?
Gives them a runner, and maybe they can turn it into something more with nobody out. A lot of things can happen here in this inning.
Smokey was almost Smokey. There ain't no Friday without Smokey.
That's ball one.
We all agree to that, and there's no next Friday without Friday, and there's no Friday after next without Friday.
Nah, we talking about the road because you said that they don't.
Here's the thing. Chris was allowed to make the decision. At the time that this is happening, Cat Williams is known for smoking weed. Willie Nelson is known for smoking weed. Snoop's known for smoking weed. But none of us is really known except Willie. And I'm saying, Chris Tucker didn't want to be the poster child for smoking weed. He don't smoke weed like that. He in the church. He Michael Jackson's best friend. Christmas. Michael Jackson called him Christmas. You ever met a man that gave you a little nickname like that? No. Me neither. Must be the greatest.
Ball one, no strike.
Man, I ain't gonna be able to get nobody back on. I ain't gonna be able to get no more comedians.
They all coming.
Nah, they ain't.
Are you kidding?
Nah.
Hey, I promise you.
I got all the rest of them. I done got the ones.
I promise you, everybody trying to double back. You're gonna be having to beat them all with a stick. You won't let him. You're coming. Much as.
You on Def Comedy Jam, Comic View. What was those experiences like? What do you remember most about Def Comedy Jam and Comic View?
Comic View was everything. Comic View was really the break, and not Friday After Next, just because Comic View was just 3,000 of your stand-up peers, and we just throw sets of all of them up there, and we see who the audience likes. Who do they like? And it was a great wild, wild west time to be involved in comedy. And the same is true for Def Jam, because hip-hop was a fad at one time. And hip-hop ain't gonna last. And why are you doing that? And that's how it was for blue comedy. If you were a comedian that cussed, you were ridiculed by the mainstream comedy geist. That would be like me being on Joe Rogan. Joe don't want me on there. I need to be on Shannon. Joe got 6 comedians that never been funny. He want to push out. But that's really how it is. I'm so sorry I'm competitive. You're an athlete, right?
Yeah, I can tell.
You understand.
Will there ever be another Comic View, Def Comedy Jam? Could that, in today, in 24, 25, 26, could we see that again?
They've already announced it. It's already going. You didn't know? Yeah, Kevin Hart purchased it, so he's now doing Comic View. That happened at the same time that they gave DC Young Fly Hollywood Squares. Yeah, because they tell you that there's no gatekeepers, but we keep seeing the same people open the gate. Didn't Kevin open the gate and let Tiffany in? And he now opening it up for... Don't such and such open the gate, but what do you mean ain't no gatekeepers? There are 100 gates out here. Everyone I've seen got a keeper.
Would you have wanted to do Comic View or Def Comedy Jam? Would you have wanted to be?
I think we just mentioned I did them both.
No, I'm saying, purchase the rights and refranchise it?
Nope. They didn't offer it to me anyway. Like, Comic View did a couple of disservices to comedy as well. So there were people like me that were out there getting 2 and 3 standing ovations in one set. And that wasn't good for television. So what they did was they started making everybody get a standing ovation. So they would tell the audience, when they get off stage, everybody get up and cheer. And so now, the fact that I'm the only one out there going to get standing ovations is now making people think everybody get a standing ovation. And that's not how comedy is. So I understood why that couldn't go anymore. Because remember, Ricky Smiley sat right here and told you a story about how he performed with Mike Epps and Cat Williams when he did Comic View, and to let him tell it, he was funnier than both.
That's one in the dirt.
Definitely got the little conscious of the pitch.
Monday, live down.
I really think the outer half is
You're talking about the special needs. Ooh, that's good.
That's a different
That's some
time.
clever material.
That was a different time, Cat.
No, it wasn't. It was the time I was there.
But I'm saying,
That time, this time, same times.
no, but I'm saying,
Just like people that tell you the Egyptians, they're not black. Egypt is in Africa, folks. As long as Egypt is in Africa, then Egyptians are African.
do you believe you can tell the same jokes today as when you started out?
Tim made a good
I mean, Eddie Murphy not telling those jokes. Richard Pryor wouldn't be able to tell those jokes in 2024 that they told in the 70s and the 80s.
So they wouldn't have told them.
But that's my point.
They're not inferior people.
No.
If they were in this time, they would be going according to our time. Just like then, we were going according to that. Like, that's how it is in the world. There are words that we can use for a while. And we use them for a while until somebody says, that ain't a good word. We should stop saying that.
Correct.
That don't make people feel good. And we stop saying the word. And we move on to another word. You can't say the R word. You can certainly say special needs.
Yeah.
You can certainly say spectrum. There are things that you can say to get your point that don't have to hurt people.
Right.
But you would know that if what you did was construct the English language for a living, then you would understand that part.
You financed your first stand-up. You had 20. It cost you 22,000. You had 25 to your name. Why did you decide to do that? You believe that much in Cat?
I believe that much in business. In business, the goal is for you to become independent and be the boss, take the responsibility, and also get the profit.
Okay.
That's all. How can I be looking for you to put me on if I wouldn't? And if I can't show you what you missed out on, why would you believe me? Now, the fact that I was able to do it 12 times, that's the real thing. The part that I'm able to do it all across the country. The fact that every time I do a tour or a special, you think, well, that's sponsored by somebody. Somebody did a good job. No, just the guy they're kicking around. Just the one that might mentally not be all there. He's the one picking the outfits, writing this guy's material, booking the shows, making sure he gets there. He's the one hiring the other comedians. But hey, I knew that that's the end goal. So if that's the end goal, and I'm there when I start, why would I deviate from that? Remember, my goal was to get this far in Hollywood and still have a virgin asshole, and never have sucked a penis. That was my only goal. I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Page. Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not going to act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends. And that's the truth of the matter. So I stayed away from that. And remember, I told you the drug story from when I'm in the park. So these are just the things. I had all of those when I came in. I already was ready for that. That's what they don't like.
I did not know. You're telling me and showing me the side of the business that I didn't know. That you guys are Man, the competition, the competitiveness.
That's all business. I don't care if they're selling Coke. You wouldn't believe the things that Coca-Cola says about Pepsi. You wouldn't believe the water conversations between Dasani and Liquid Death. Like in all business, in all sport, competition is a driving force. And I don't require anybody to be better. Who am I? I just require if you're a loser and you've taken shortcuts at every chance, and you've made sure that you didn't put anybody on that really had a work ethic and was a God-fearing person, and you helped it. If that was never you, then don't act like that's you. Don't get out here now that you don't do stand-up and start acting like, oh, you're not sure why you don't do stand-up no more. I heard you got run off. You better be careful. The nigga that run you off gonna show up and he gonna tell everybody. And what you gonna be able to say? Nothing. Why you think I speak with such clarity? I'm actually involved in each one of these stories I told you about.
Doing a nice job of keeping the ball out of the air. Lets the defense work behind him with another ground ball.
One comedian, as we've been sitting here doing this interview, that you hold in very high regard is Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle walked away from $50 million. You said it was more. Tell the story.
That's right.
I'm gonna let you tell it.
No, you're
I want you to tell it.
You really are the best. You're proving it here today. As much as I'm proving it, you're proving it. You're proving it. Yeah, that wasn't the thing. It wasn't. People say that he lost $50 million. No, that's not even close to what happened to this dude. And until you understand what happened to the dude, you don't understand what happened. Like, no, not they offered him $50 million and he turned it down. Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times.
Here's the second baseman, Ryan Roberts.
4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I just say them so freely.
Can I do?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Because early on you was accusing me again.
Amazingly, he looks like he might be okay.
I mean, but you know, some of these people.
Martin tried to put me in my first dress. When he had to go on his hiatus, he tell me, Cat, when I come back, I need you. You my young partner. You my brother in comedy. When I come back, just promise me that my next movie, it'll be me and you. We gonna do it together. We gonna do some buddy cop shit. I said, Martin, you got my motherfucking word. My nigga, go do what you gotta do. When you come back, I'm in your movie. Don't trip. I don't need to see the script or nothing. You know, we get in that office and this fool pull out Big Mama's House too. I almost died. And I gotta read this script from all these good white people. Where this nigga want me to get in a dress with him. And I'm literally saying to everybody, why is he in a dress again? You already played the old lady as an FBI agent. We can play anything now. We can be playing the dog catcher this time. Why do we need to be in a dress? And I get so mad, I say, you don't want me. You want Brandon T. Jackson. And that's who they went and got. Twice I said it, they went and got him. Just like I'm telling you, I had that other dude's work. I had all of it. All I did was say, I want to punch it up so it's not offensive to real niggas. And that's how I got in this position.
Welcome back.
I sure hope I have Club Shay Shay after this era.
It's gonna be in a dimension it's never been.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
The greatest thing floating in 2024. Mark the word. No way. In a whole different realm of business. Oprah coming next. Once I establish this as the place of truth. Oh yeah. Watch. God's people ain't that few.
Prince. You met Prince.
Now, number 11.
Prince is a friend of mine.
First offering in the
He was a friend of mine.
What was those conversations? Because look, I mean, sometimes we don't really understand or appreciate someone until they're gone. I did. I was a big Prince fan. All this stuff because he could play all the instruments. He could sing. He was an entertainer that could sing. And what he wrote, I mean, who thinks of Cherry Moons? Who thinks it snows in April? Who a Raspberry Beret or Pink Cashmere? The Purple Rain, the things that he wrote about. about. Like, bro, who mind goes there?
Now he has somebody to worry about over at first.
Yeah, he was.
Time is called for a mound visit now.
He was like unlike anybody in the world. He was. He was just an amazing individual. I was able to meet him when I was 12, and I knew him my entire life through all of his changes. I was able to assist him many times. If you go look at Prince's car collection, you'll see that Prince don't have not one car Cat Williams ain't got. He got the Prowler from Friday After Next in there. He got the same Bentley as me, like, because we share certain things. Our connection was lyrics, musical lyrics, women, and cars. And those are the areas where he trusted my opinion on things. And that's where I got to be helpful in his life. And he was helpful in mine in really all different types of ways, especially about the business, as far as being a black man that was rich in his business at 18 years old, had already did his first $1 million contract, had already broken records, was determined that he didn't want to be like anybody else, was so great of a guitar player that black people just stopped hearing about guitar. And he got left out on a limb and somehow still had to create his way out of that. He was just really a one in a billion type person. I was lucky to know him.
Now, there are specials and the streaming. I don't know. I don't think there's as many. There's no DVDs now. So where are you on this streaming, the specials? I mean, obviously you still tour, but how much do you focus on? Okay, I'm gonna tour, say 100 days or 150 days, but I'm gonna do a special.
Well, now that our relationship with Netflix is at the 8-figure mark, how often you want to make them?
You said 8. I mean, like 5, 6, 7, 8.
Gotta be 10 million to qualify. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, once you're at that level, how many would you do? I'd be willing to bet you say, every time you turn around, I'm gonna be doing another one. I think that's what you would say if you was any good. And like I said, with 12 comedy specials, why do I need to be in these conversations with these specialist people? Sid ain't got no special you remember. Steve ain't got no special you remember. Ricky ain't got no special you remember. Faison ain't got no. What? So why do y'all get special? Yep, it was 20 minutes long.
It was good too, though.
It was. He's good. Not it was good. He's good. He's good. Don't think because I said something derogatory that I don't know how to hate. Earthquake has consistently, I don't think anybody's ever said Quake wasn't funny. He probably never been booed. I don't think he's ever given a bad performance. But his just due was overdue. He was in a whole different situation. Because he wasn't able to translate the stand-up to the movie thing, he took a hit. Most people don't take a hit. They're just judged on their stand-up. So, yeah, no. I even though it sounds like there's a lot of people, that's not the case. I'm a proponent of all of us who are in this business working hard trying to make it.
When you got in the stand-up, was crossing over, was doing TV, was doing movie, was that a part of it? You're like, okay, I'm doing stand-up. Okay, the next progression is TV movies.
Throughout the history of stand-up, sir. That's the goal for all of us. That's how it goes. That's why when you hear these dudes talking about, I didn't want to be a movie star, you just know it's disingenuous. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Yeah, no, I just wanted to do a game show. Right. What? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because I thought you did Mark Curry's show over after he had just done hanging with Mr. Cooper. Why would you do all of that man stuff that he did on his show on yours, and then do the dude's stand-up? You go on the road, and then you never put Mark Curry on your show or nothing. Like, if you don't say anything, these dudes will run over you. I don't know if you know how bullies operate, but if you don't stand up for yourself, there really is nothing they won't do.
Right.
Warming up as well.
You're a very generous man, Cat. You're the sole sponsor of Melba Moore, getting a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You did all that on your own. Why? Do you have a personal relationship
Ball game,
with Melba?
bitches. Stay fair.
No, I understood that she was a black woman in a time where it mattered what you look like.
Of course I
They
do.
had a certain thing that they needed you to look like and act like in order to be successful.
Right.
And she just never did that. She wasn't tall enough. She wasn't fine. They didn't like her looks. They didn't like that her hair was natural. They talked crazy about her, and yet she still made all of these achievements. And I'm like, understand, I'm already in the Comedy Hall of Fame. I'm already going to heaven no matter what happens. If it ends in a second, I'm up there. So it gives me the leeway to do some things that are simply because it's the right thing to do. So the truth of the matter is, they wanted to give me a star. But please don't consider me and this person been sitting on this list this whole time. And just because they ain't got enough money, they can't get they just do. That's crazy. When do you start? That's hurtful. What if somebody can't afford their flowers? You mean they don't get them? No, God don't operate like that. He would send a dummy like me to come and take care of that. Just so that the right thing happens. That's how the universe works. But because remember, what am I spending my money on? I'm not spending my money on strippers. I ain't spending them on drugs. Like, what? Because if I go in a strip club, I'm only trying to get her out of there.
Yeah.
I have no intention of her or any other people being in this position. If I see a girl I like in the strip club, I'm telling her, you know, you don't have to strip no more after this. This could be your last day. How about that? Ooh. What would it be like just to leave it all? You ain't gotta be all no more.
I don't even want you to go get your purse. Just leave it.
Ain't nothing.
We get new ID. We get new ID and credit card and social security card.
We don't need none of that.
None of that.
This life don't look good on you.
Yeah, shit.
You don't even look like a drug addict.
Got me thinking, you can't.
Yeah. You hear these athletes talking about, yeah, we was out there tricking. What? Why? You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. Stop paying people that you don't have no respect for. It sets it up bad for us. We got women out here can't find a man because they acting like it. And you are alpha. Now the alphas all want these subservient husbands. You can't have one.
They ain't gonna happen.
It ain't gonna happen. Sorry about that. Okay, go ahead. Boy, you done got me canceled. How many times in this program? Where's the camera? I didn't write nothing. I said tonight. This all been on these cue cards, and I'm gonna keep reading them. Ask your next question.
Amigos, do you happen to get out of financial situation?
I don't think we ever, as a nation, can remember a time that the Migos were financially unsuccessful. So for the record, I would assume that they've never needed Cat Williams' financial assistance for anything. I'm sure that between QC, the label, and other things, they were taken care of. On the other hand, if I was given the opportunity to help them, would I? Of course I would. That's what I do. I'm a pro-black non-racist. Like, I really, really love black people, but I don't love them more than other people. I love everybody. I'm a black guy, and I try to stick with that. But I'm not one of those pillow talkers either. Like when I do something good, I'm really not doing it for the gram. It's not for any of that. I'm just doing it because it's good to do.
I appreciate that. I don't know if this is true, but I did read that comedians on your show say that women sometimes would bring them money and not say where it came from?
Say that again?
Comedians would say women would bring them money and not say where it came from.
Right. So, I'm not a feminist like a feminist would be, but I do believe that that in my camp, like if I had 35 people in my camp, right? I believe that other than 4 jobs, I believe that a woman is better at any of them jobs than any man could be.
Okay.
So 10 of these jobs, no man can work because I'd rather a female be there. If I gotta smell anybody's breath, I want it to be hers. I don't want none of you crusty. So what I'm saying is, if in a staffing issue, I'm gonna have 75% women just because I prefer them. I don't prefer to hear 2 guys talking in the corner. I prefer to hear 2 ladies talking in the corner. I don't care what they're talking about. I just prefer that. So a lot of times I will utilize ladies to convey a message. If a comedian is doing a great job somewhere in the country, he just did a masterful set and nobody's gonna pay him. They just clap him. And I know he's broke as shit back there. Wouldn't it be nice if somebody just showed up and gave him a little blessing? And he didn't have to suck me off for it and thanks.
Alright guys, I'm going to stop it here. Got to get ready for work. We'll pick back up tomorrow. If you're watching. Just follow it in when they're uploaded. I'm not going to put it in the title. Might stream some Call of Duty tonight, but it won't be none of this right here. Just be looking out for me. If you like what you've been watching and listening to, hit like. You can subscribe. It's up to you. I don't care. Hope you do, but if you don't, it's not gonna be the end of the world. I do this for me and those of y'all that enjoy watching it. I just enjoy listening to stuff as I play video games.